Hello, and welcome back. In the last video, we finished Act 3. We're on Act 4 now. I noticed that the average watch time for these longer format videos is around the 15 to 20 minute mark, so I'm gonna try to bring it down to that level. In doing that, I need to optimize the way I speak, or what I speak about. And so to do that, I need to write down my thoughts and create scripts that I can loosely base what I'm speaking upon. So for the next few videos, it may sound like I'm reading directly from a screen or from a piece of paper, and I might actually be. My goal is to strengthen my skill in being able to read and add my own parts to it, but also memorize scripts and turn it into my own ways of speaking. Do note, everything that sounds like I'm reading, it is me reading my own written material. With that being said, bear with me for the parts where it sounds like I'm just reading something. There will be parts where I speak my thoughts on something that I wrote. Although I push really hard to try to finish Act 4 in this video, I wasn't able to. Towards the end of the video, if you're somebody who watches, you'll see me struggle a lot once I reach hell, and although I have really good resistances, just not able to push through. I'll have to go back and do some of the optional quests in the next video. In this video, I wanted to talk about something that I wrote about before. The topic would be relationships. The complexes that arise from the entity relationship, or us, is importantly referred to separately from him or her. Certain ideas, concepts, ways of thinking, etc. are only made possible through the existence of a separate form of being between the two individuals in a relationship. They are characteristics of us, not solely one individual or the other, although possibly created by them. What I'm saying is, the very act of starting a relationship entitles a third entity created between the two individuals initiating the connection. The connection itself being that third entity. If this isn't understood by one or both parties, it creates a bond with no goal, an infantile connection, fragile in its entirety. By not having the ability to differentiate between you, us, or I, every fault and conflict in the relationship falls upon either you or I. This may not sound like an issue to some, but simply put, some things simply aren't either of our faults. Within this idea, I'm going to use the names John and Jane to refer to the two partners in a relationship. Let's focus on a situation wherein John and Jane plan to take the dog on a walk. They plan for the walk to be on Thursday at 4 p.m. because they have to be to bed early that night. Skipping to Thursday, Jane thought it would be a good idea to make a quick snack before they go on the walk. In doing so, that delays the time in which they can start their walk. While making this snack for herself and John accidentally drops his snack, and then the dog eats it. In cleaning the floor and finishing up their snacks, they realize that it started raining outside. In this situation, it's really easy to blame Jane for wanting to make a snack before going on the walk, but it's also really easy to blame John because he spilled his snack. Or you can place the blame on both of them for both doing things that delayed the walk. But the reality is, what about the third factor? The no fault factor. Sometimes weather is just unpredictable in this situation. If they were to go on that walk, it could have been that in the middle of the walk, it started raining. But to stay on point here, the idea of being able to accept that sometimes you're not able to place blame on something or someone for a failure or a shortcoming frees up a lot of energy to handle other things in your day-to-day life. I think oftentimes in relationships, we can get into arguments with our partner, and although in the moment we say that we're okay with what they did, or we forgive them, or we know that it wasn't their fault, deep down, a lot of us do think it was somebody's fault, whether that's our own or theirs or an outside person. And so in a future argument or in a future heated situation, we bring that up again. And when that happens, you're slowly breaking down the trust in the relationship. You're breaking down that third entity that I mentioned in the beginning of this video. Although an elementary example, I think it's important to adopt a possible third option of no fault. So, what's the point I'm getting to? The deeper purpose of this is to focus on the dynamics of relationships that are built on idealization stemming from emotional trauma or insecurities, resulting in a fragile and sometimes toxic relationship. I often come across friends venting about their significant others, or sometimes sat right in the middle of them arguing and picking at each other. In these situations, I do my best to stand neutral, almost like a pylon of neutrality, calmly listening as words are thrown from one end to the other. I do my best to translate emotions and sequences of words into actions instead of seeing them at their face value. An example being an insult not being just an insult, but what the purpose of it may have been, what it was in response to. After listening to these arguments with the right ear, you're able to pick up on key points that often need filling in, on where it may have come from or what the purpose of that statement was. There seems to be an intentionally withdrawn purpose as to why some individuals explode with emotions all at once, instead of initially communicating their frustrations. To prescribe a blanket reason for this withdrawing behavior, I feel it would be dehumanizing. What I can say is that it seems to come from a place of fear of judgment or ridicule, or maybe it's because sometimes we feel misunderstood. It's okay to sometimes be misunderstood, but when our words are turned upside down on us, it hurts and it's hard to forget. So we hold on to it and we use it as a template for our future behaviors and reactions. Put simply, it becomes a part of our personality. I believe that through analyzing our interactions, specifically our romantic ones, we can reveal our core trauma, the shadow that defines who we are and how we react to the world around us. The interesting aspect of core trauma, in my opinion, is that core trauma itself is not trauma. Think of trauma as damage to something, damage to a part of yourself, or we could bring it into the physical world of, say you hit your hand on the table. That was trauma to your hand. Whereas core trauma is, you could see it as a programming. You were so young that you were just taught that that was the right way. So it's not a trauma, it's a mislearned perspective of the world. And this mislearned perspective, to be a little bit repetitive here, changed the way you perceive things, react to things, and how you behave overall. And those three things determine your personality. And this is what leads to personality disorders. Our personality is built upon the beliefs that we learned when we were younger. It's how we learn to react. It's how we learn to behave. But just because something is our personality doesn't mean that we can't reroute it. We can't rewire it. Learning about these aspects of ourselves, we're able to accept them because we realize that it's simply part of us, something that we can take control of. In ignorance, we fall victim to the resurrected pains of our past. We become necromancers of our own trauma, demanding energy and attention in the form of anger. We think that heated arguments are the only form of proof that our partner still cares. Through questioning and focusing on key moments, you're able to maintain a controlled and calm environment with a clear set goal, oftentimes being able to pinpoint the almost exact origin of these outbursts of pain or fear. Pause. Reflect upon the parts of yourself that you fear most and accept them. For in the face of light, we falter to shadows without the acceptance of self. What you just heard was roughly something I wrote down months ago. I had forgotten about it until I got on my laptop the other day and pulled up my text editing program. When I saw it, it inspired me to use it as a topic for this video. I hope this formatting wasn't too much of a mix-up for my pre-existing listeners. As I make more of these, I'm hoping that it becomes more fluent and sounds more so like I'm talking instead of reading. As always, thank you for watching. Till next time.